So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hallo zusammen, grüß euch. Wherever you see this video, hi together. In the next couple of minutes, I want to show you how you can actually perform a refactoring with the ABAP Development Tools. I will not show you what's refactoring about or why or when we should refactor our code. So, or what is TDD. Theory is not part of my session here, but there was an earlier session by Lawrence, and in his session he told us more about the whole theory, about the big picture. If you missed it, I think all the sessions are recorded and you can watch it later. But if you're interested in more information or interested in more information about refactoring, I highly recommend the following book. It's called Refactoring, Improving Design of Existing Code. It's by Martin Fowler, and here is everything in it if you want to have more information about refactoring. But in my session here, or in this session, I just will show you how you can refactor your code with ABAP Development Tools, with Eclipse, or how the tool or Eclipse helps you if you want to refactor your code. My name is Johann Fößleitner. I am one of the old generation ABAP developers. So I wrote my first report 30 years ago. It was in R2, 1990. Yes, and I'm still an ABAP developer, and I still love to create ABAPs and create cool things in SAP. And one of my topics is, of course, clean code, modern ABAP development, and therefore is also refactoring part of my main focus. As I said in this session, there's no theory. This is not completely right. There is just a little bit. There's one important refactoring rule which I want to show you. It's the refactoring rule described by Martin Fowler. Martin says refactoring is the process of changing a software system in such a way that it does not alter the external behavior of the code, yet improves its internal structure. Sounds good. Sounds okay for me, but and then the next thing, always if you talk about refactoring, ABAP unit is also an important part in the refactoring process. The ABAP unit is like a seatbelt or like a parachute, and helps you or tells you if you added a bug in your method during a refactoring. But today I will not show you how to create a unit test, and I will not add unit tests, but believe me, unit tests are very important and very helpful if you want to refactor your code. So that's all about the little bit theory. So I think let's start with refactoring. But before we go through the ADT, let's have a look to the SA24. Yes, the sub GUI. Is there something? Is there a tool which helps you during your refactoring process in the SA24? And yes, it is. There's something. It's called the Refactoring Assistant. Maybe you saw it. I just want. You cannot do much things with the Refactoring Assistant. The only thing that you can do is you can move members. That means you can move attributes, constants, or methods from a class, from a child class to a parent class or to a superclass, or to an interface, or back from the interface back to the class. So let's jump to the sub GUI and just want to show you a quick example. So this was just a short demo how you can refactor your code, or how the sub GUI supports you to refactor your code also in the old GUI world. So I have a very small class. It's called ZCL child class, and then in this child class I have one method. It's called output data, and the second method is called get data, but it's part of the superclass. And I have the superclass with the name ZCL superclass. Here you will see the one method get data, and we have an interface. It's called ZDF interface. Yes, and the interface itself is empty, no attributes, no methods. What now I want to do is I want to move the output data, the method, from the child class to the superclass. And therefore you can execute this refactoring assistant. So you will find it under utilities, refactoring assistant. Then you will see a tree of your class, of your current class. You see you get attributes and the methods, and just drag and drop what you want to move. So for example, I want to move the method from the current child class to the superclass. And I also want, I have one attribute, and I want to move also the attribute from the from child class to the superclass. So here you get some feedback. Yes, that's cool. Want to activate it? Yes. So activate the objects. Let's move to the superclass now. So now, yes, you can see here are the new output data. It's part of the superclass. But now let's move over to the ABAP Development Tools. First, I want to give you an overview of what you can do in that area of refactoring. The first thing what you can do is, and what is really important, is the naming. You can rename the identifiers. So that means you can rename the method and attributes, and all involved classes, programs will also be changed. That's very important. The second thing what you can do is you can extract pieces of code. You can just select some lines of code and create a new method with this code fragment, and the system creates a method with the necessary importing or exporting parameters, or if necessary with some local data definitions and so on. The third one, what you can do is you can just create constants or extract constants on variables. So you can just create a constant if you use in the code area somewhere variable, you just create a constant based on that. Or you can create an attribute of a variable if you want, have an attribute in the class. The next thing is, of course, you can do the same thing what you saw in my first demo, is you can move members. So that means you can move the attribute or the methods from the subclass to the parent class. You can move it to the interface, or you can move it back. And of course you can change the visibility from private to protected, and from protected to public, and so on. And finally, one important thing is the exception handling. You have the possibility, you can refactor your code. For example, you can say, please add a try catch around the selected piece of code. And the system then, of course, adds the try and catch, and also the possible exceptions. So, but before we move to the ADT, I have to tell you about the Quick Assist, because the Quick Assist is the one tool which helps you to refactor your code. So you can divide the Quick Assist in 3 different areas. The first one is the quick fixes. I'm absolutely sure you saw them. Sometimes if you use Eclipse, of course, if you use Eclipse and you have a syntax error, then the system supports you with some quick fixes. So with maybe you saw them. This is the first area of the Quick Assist, and the second one is the refactoring. That's part of today. And the third one, it's also very cool and very interesting, is you have quick fixes or Quick Assist to create a constructor or a factory methods or a set and get methods and so on. So now let's jump into my first demo. I just want to show you how you can rename identifiers. So my demo is, we have just a class, it's called ZCLDemo01. There is one method, it's called get put000, and we have one report. The report is setDemo01 and gets the data and outputs the data. And now I want to refactor it, because the naming is not good, and from my perspective we can find a better naming. Let's start with the types. So how you can execute the quick assist? The quick assist you can execute by a shortcut, Control or Steuerung, Control and 1 here, or you will find it in the quick fix, in the context menu. Sorry, here, quick fix. Oh, sorry, here. I recommend, of course, always the shortcut. After several times, you will remember it. You'll remember the important shortcuts. So Control and 1. And now you have a list of possible changes. And yes, we want to rename it. So rename T, put 000. And I think a better naming is type partners finish. So the system changed the type here, and of course also because I used this type in the method in the get put 000, the system changed it also in the class method. This is okay. That's not really rocket science, but the next name is a little bit better, I think. So we have a method. It's called get put 000. We have here the implementation, and here you can see on the right side we have an execution of this method in the demo report. Now again, Control and 1, quick fix, and then rename again. And I think a better naming is get partners. Now I press next and not finish, because if you press next, then you get a list of all the involved objects, the affected objects. We have of course our class, it's the second, and we have the report. So the system knows, okay, there is the method is used in the report. And then I say next, and before you say finish, you see what will be changed. So you can see the original source and the refactored source, and you can double check it if you want. And if you say finish, then have a look here, then the system will change the method name also in the report. And finally, we can change the export attribute or export parameter. We use it here, you can see it here and here. So again, Control and 1, rename, and the better naming is again, I think, E partners. I say just finish. And the system changed the attribute here, the power of the export parameter here, and of course here in the report. Great. So I think that's enough about renaming. I think it's easy to understand. Just execute the quick view by Control F1 or with the context menu and rename whatever you want. So in my next demo, I want to show you how you can extract existing parts of your code to a new method, or of an expression to a new method. Again, a short, simple demo. I have the method, it's with the name process data, and the first thing what we do is we select some data and then we process some data, and depending on, in that case, we read some business partners, and if it is a type per person, then we do something for the person, or in other cases we execute the method process organization. So first thing what I want to do is I want to extract this piece of code to a new method, called get all business partners, for example. I can extract the code if I just select this one line, or I select also the comment in front or before the code. Then the system tries to create a method with the name of the comment. For example, now I hope the system will create a method called get all partners. Of course, we have to execute the shortcut Control 1 and then extract method. And as you can see, so the system creates a new method called get all business partners. Here I have the method. The system creates the necessary returning attribute or parameters, RT partners. And here we have the select itself. So, okay, I don't like this underline, so I just rename it to get all partners. So then, okay, it's good, it's better than before. Then I want to extract this, but before this process partner, but before I do this, I want to put this expression into a method, because this is a question like, is it a person? So I want to have a method with the name isPerson, for example, and if it is true. So let's select this piece of code, just the expression, just L partner type and person, Control 1, extract method from expression. I do this. So maybe I will have a syntax error because syntax error implementing missing. So maybe it was just a warning. So now we have a method, it's called new method. I will rename it to isPerson. Let's activate it. So now we have an expression. It's called if isPerson L partner ABAP true. And in the isPerson, let's switch to the isPerson. Here we have the result if the L partner type is cPerson. Perfect. So now I think it's better to read now, better to understand. If isPerson L partner is true, then execute process person or process organization. And then I want to move this also to a new method. And now I want to show you an additional function. I don't use the shortcut Control and 1. I use the context menu because I want to show you this extract method function. It's you can execute it with Alt, Shift and M, or here with the context menu. I do it with the shortcut Alt, Shift and M. And now the system shows you a wizard, and you can do the changes, or we can change the name or the attributes if you want, with the wizard, or also the visibility. So I want to have as name, yes, process partner. I want to have it protected, and the ET partners, yeah, it's okay. It's importing, but I don't like the T. So next, finish. And the system creates a new method called process partners with the parameter ET partners. And in the process partners, so here it is, you see we loop over the E partners and execute process person or process organization, depending on whatever it is. So this was just a short demo, and I hope you could see how easy it is to extract existing code to a new method. Now let's move over to the next section, to the extracting constants and variables. And what I want to do is, I have here is a get partners, and I have two, yes, let's say hard-coded values, 0 and 0001. And for this type, behind of one is as the type person, I want to create a constant with the name person. So just put the cursor to the value, Control 1, and then you can say extract the value to a local constant, to a member constant, to a local variable, to an attribute, or to an importing variable. Let's do this later. I want to start with a member constant. So that means I want to have a constant here in the class. So as you can see, the system creates a new constant called underline 1 with the value, and you have the possibility to change the name right now here directly. I name it C person. Perfect. So it's a little bit better now. And the BU group, I don't want to have a constant, but I want to have a local variable. So again, Control 1. Let's define a local variable. 0001, and let's say partner group with the value 0001. Or maybe no, I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea to have a local variable. I want to have it as a parameter in the method get partners. So quick fix. Now I can convert it. I can convert it to an attribute, or to an importing parameter, or to an exporting or to an changing parameter. So I want to have an importing parameter. So now let's see. Here we have a new importing parameter in the method get partners. It's called L partner group with the default value 0001, and here the system changed the attribute or the variable also in the where condition. And let's activate it. So the next demo is about moving members. It's similar to my first demo what I showed you in the sub GUI. Let's switch to Eclipse. Now I want to move some constants and methods and change the visibility. First, what I want to do is I want to move the person to, let's say, to the protected section. Now to the public section. Control 1, and here I can select make C person protected or C person public. I want to have it public. Great. Then I want to change the visibility of do something. I want to move it to protected, let's say. And let's activate the whole thing. That's okay, but I'm not happy because I have an interface, and the interface, you can see it on the right side, is completely empty. And I want to move some parts to the interface because I need the same methods and so on for other classes. So first, I think the type partners could be a part of the interface. Let's execute the quick assist here. And now here I have the possibility to say pull up the type partners to the interface. Let's do this. Double click. It's here. Let's activate the interface. And now we have a small error, but should work. Okay, this was just an activation problem. Now we have moved the type partners to the interface. Next thing, next part, I think we should move the get partners also to the interface. Control 1, pull up get partners to the interface. The system tells me that maybe there is a problem after the movement, so maybe you get a syntax error. Mostly it has to do with field symbols or types and so on. So let's see what the problem is. So we moved it, so let's activate it. The interface should be fine, I think. I'll try to activate it again. Now it's active. Yeah, and also the class is active, no problem. There's one more thing what I want to tell you. I always use the control and 1 function. That's good, of course. But there's also a few available, and if you have the few, if you use the few, then it's not necessary that you always press the shift F, the control and 1. You always see which possibilities you have with the quick assist. So the best way to show the view is just go to some piece of code, press Control 1, and now here you can see on the bottom, press Control Shift and 1, and then you have the quick view assistant, the quick assistant view. So I do this. Now here I have it on the right side. You can arrange it whatever, however you want. Now I can always see all the possibilities So for example, here I can rename, here I can also do rename. Now I can move it to the interface, for example here. And the good thing here, or the cool feature here, is if you do some quick assists, then you see on the right side always the previous result, and you can move directly to the changed object or to the changed class. It's a really cool feature. This is the quick assist view. So now we'll come to my last section, but to be honest, my time is over. So therefore, I have to just tell you in a few words what's about the exception handling. So in the exception handling, there are some quick fixes. For example, if you execute some methods of classes and the classes can trigger or can raise some exceptions, then you can and you select the piece of code and you can just add the try catch with all the available exceptions surrounding your piece of code, for example. I hope you enjoyed my demos. I hope you learned something new. For me, it's important with ADT, we have a powerful tool which helps us to refactor our code. So there's no reason why we leave bad code in the system. You can just rename it, you can just extract it, you can just optimize it. So thank you very much for attending. Enjoy the rest of the day and the rest of the sessions. I will also attend some sessions. All the best for you. Good night, good morning, good evening und bleibt so gesund. Baba, tschüss.